Alrighty, traders, this is Blake Morrow, and you are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Okay, so let's get through the morning analysis, and let's get to it. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna grab the bias chart here, and it's time to get started. See if we can get through this analysis. All right, folks, let's start off with the euro dollar. And as you guys know, we are still in a really, really big range. Going, just narrowing down to last week. If you recall, late last week. Here, let's remove this. So we pushed out of the triangle. Okay, we hit a key resistance, and you can see the resistance, it spawns all the way back to April 8th here, so early in the month. That high comes in at 108.87. We went as high as 108.99, so 109 obviously is going to be resistance today. And even if we get above 109, we have 109 and a quarter, which is a 786 of the entire range, which will probably stall us. Okay, so 109 and 109 and a quarter will be key upside resistance. I think now today, if you're a bull, you're just lucky if you get to 109, in my opinion. Okay, we are in a range environment, and we should find support in the euro as we approach down here at 108. You can see the 108 is, previous resistance. Okay, let's go into an hourly chart. Let's get rid of this. I don't think we need that right now. Previous resistance. Okay, we basically, even though we dipped below just over to here, you can see the next time we dipped down, we actually held the 108 level. So 108 is going to be really good support today. We shouldn't get much below that. Even if we get down to 108, maybe a move down to 107.80 may provide us, or that should provide us some support. We might get down there just to maybe even trigger stops below 108, but I can't imagine us really moving out of this range. And so what I would be thinking today is one of two things here. If we get a rally back to 109, that's probably going to be a decent short. And if you want to get long somewhere down here around 108, it's probably a good long. Okay. I think that's the way we have to approach the euro dollar today. I don't think there's any reason to do much more than that, and we happen to be pretty close to the middle of the range. That damn cable. All right, speaking of the cable, let's go talk about the cable. So the pound, and let me get rid of these arrows really quick. I can remove those for now, and I'm going to remove this circle. Not that. No. There we go. So if you remember last week's analysis, we have channel resistance that comes in at 151, 80, 70, also a 618 retracement. Okay, that rejected us. We had a high of 151.86, and on Friday we even were moving into that resistance, and everybody's like, Blake, you gonna hold the pound over the weekend, especially with the with us pushing higher. And I did, and I was just like, yeah, I'm really not too worried about it. And like I said, I took a little bit of profits this morning. I'm not short anymore, but I would like to short another rally back to that 618 or close to. So if we can get a move back up in the pound anywhere near this resistance, I'm game. All right, so the highs are 85. We went as high as 88. Um, so I'm going to write down 80 because I mean I could write down 88, but I'm really going to just write down 151.80 because 51.77 is the 618. So 151.80 is resistance, and it's critical resistance too. It's not like a minor resistance; it's critical resistance. As long as we stay below that, we're bearish. You know, we break above 152 and the cable's going to turn bullish. I'm going to start buying the pound against everything. I know I said that last week, but I said it a couple times last week. I'll say it again today. We get above 152 and I'm going to start buying the pound Aussie, pound New Zealand, pound Canadian. I'm going to start buying a lot of cable positions, right? But really it's a move above 152 that's going to do the trick. Now for today, we did come out of a wedge pattern right here. All right. So this should offer really good support. Should we make it down to 150.65? Actually, whatever that high is. 78. So 150.75. That should be really good support. 150.75. Okay. That should be good support for today. And I mean, if you guys want to pick it up long down there, I mean, you can do that too. I'm personally, I just want to try to trade the pound to the short side, but if it gets down here, you might be able to play it on the long side. Maybe off this trend line support here too. You see that? Right? Something like this. So you can play it to the long side here or to the short side back at 152. Okay. All right, but that's what I'd be looking for with the cable, and like I said, I'm not short. I want to be short, but I want to be short back up here, not down here. All right, let's go over to the Swissy. Okay, here's the Swissy, and we're really in this wedge, and it's a bearish wedge. And the thing is, and you guys know this, if things start to in Greece, if things start to heat up a little bit, we are, if things start to heat up a little bit, the problem is the Swiss is probably going to strengthen. All right, so we'd see the dollar Swiss move lower as a result, or all the Swiss pairs move lower as a result. Okay. Um, I think we just have to play within this wedge right now. Okay. So a move below 94.85 would be extremely bearish. But that's key support, 94.85. Resistance is going to be, all the way up to 97. I don't know if I want to write all that. We're a little too far away from that. But today, I think I just had that line just drawn there because it's probably sufficient for today as well. Spike high, spike lows. Okay. So move back up to 96.20. Be a resistance. We are very much in a range. Okay. Let's go over to the yen. So the dollar yen, bouncing back because of the Fitch downgrades. All right. Now we held the 786, which is now, obviously it's going to be very good support. Okay, 118.80. The lows here, 118.77, 118.80 is just really key support now. Okay, that's key support for bulls. Now, on a rally, that will offer great resistance right through here. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Okay. Let's get rid of that. So now any rally back to 119.70 is going to offer resistance. Let's draw fibs up there just to see. Hell, we may even struggle right here at the 618, these spike highs that come in at 119.60. So I'm going to write that down. 119.60 should offer some resistance. We are still in a range, as fun as this range has been since the beginning of the year. Grab a drink of my coffee here. All right, let's go over to the dollar Canadian. All right, so here's the dollar Canadian. And we wrote this down as resistance last week, which obviously is still sticky. Okay. And that comes in at 121.80. We've been as high here as 121.94. So I'm going to write down 122, but you can see why it's struggling up there. Okay. So 122. We're still in a bearish trend here. Now, last week we did not make lower lows. Okay, we were hoping for one last move to the 618, which have been 120. What is that? 120.60, I think it is. No, 120.50. Okay, we were hoping for one last move down to new lows, but we haven't done that yet. And we're actually making higher lows now. So really key support. It's going to be 120.85. What is that? 120.87, 120.85. Okay. And if we do stab into a new low, then just remember there's 120.50 just below, which I think is going to offer a really great place to be on the long side personally. I know I've said that before, but I'll say it again. If for some reason we push into new lows, I want to be a buyer down here. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the Kiwi. All right. So here's the Kiwi dollar. Now, the Kiwi, a couple things here. All right. So let's go back to this daily chart and let's delete everything. Okay. And let's talk symmetry for a second. So you guys know that trend line right there rejected us last week. Okay. That is not symmetrical. What was symmetrical is this. Okay. That was symmetrical initially. Okay. That trend line right there wasn't. So what that means is if we do push lower here to find symmetry with this upper trend line, if we break down below this support, our fall may be somewhat limited to like 74 cents. So we build more of a symmetrical triangle there. It's entirely possible. So what I'm trying to say is if we do break down here this week, especially with trade balance, the RBNZ, be careful chasing it lower. Um, if you're going to get short the Kiwi dollar for the week, you probably want to be shorting somewhere up here this week. As we're below 76.30. Okay. Now the reason why I say that is because right here, previous support, current resistance, we spiked up there already. 76.36, so 76.35 is going to be resistance. Okay, now support. Support's going to be really key right here. I'm going to delete this stuff again. You can see how that trend line support comes into play. So 75.30 is going to be really critical support for today. But if we get below there, just don't get too excited about chasing it lower. Because what I was explaining to you moments ago was that even if we do press lower, we may stay symmetrical with this line here. We may stay symmetrical with that line up there on a move down. Okay? All right. Let's go over the Aussie really quick before I put you on break. All right, here is the Aussie dollar. And we're going to do the peso, the Swedish krona, the Norwegian krona, dollar index, obviously. We're going to do all that today because we have time and it's a slow market. So might as well get in the analysis of all the dollar pairs. Okay, so here's the Aussie dollar. Now the Aussie, we have resistance right here, which is obviously 78.40, which is a big deal. It was a big deal last week. Now we have this channel right here that I think we should pay attention to, which means that if we hit new highs, how much new highs are we going to get? If we get to 78.40 and we break, if this channel is holding still, we may only go up another 10 pips before reversing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't get too excited about the Aussie dollar should the Aussie dollar break to the upside. Okay. So for today, though, 78.40 is a big deal. And then support is 77.60 again. 0.7840. It's pretty important resistance up there. Oh, wait. I didn't want the Kiwi is bearish. I'm sorry. That's a range bias. My bad. I don't know why I clicked that. All right. 0.7760 is your support. All right. So when I come back, we're going to do the dollar index. We're going to look at the peso. We're going to look at the Nordic currencies. Right. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a few moments. Thanks. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Still a very quiet session. Jeez. What I realize is we still have to look at the dollar index, and we We have to see if there's anything else going on with some of the some of the more exotic dollar pairs. Um, so let's get over to the dollar index really quick. Here's the dollar index. Okay, so we were last week um, when we were talking about the dollar index here, and we were talking about this pretty key level support that we're coming into, and we might have broke down. Okay, we broke down. We actually closed below that level, and notice how we popped back up today. That suggests to me that that perhaps I was looking at the trend line incorrectly, and especially if you start thinking about start thinking about where the symmetry is here. So let's go ahead and delete this really quick. Delete that and delete that as well. Let's zoom out. Let's take this support here, and we may be looking at more of a triangle that looks like this, or where did all my drawing tools go? That's uh, that's weird. Stand by. There they are. Okay. There they are. Okay. Dang it. Now I'm going to have to redraw that again. Okay. So let's delete those. And let's delete that. And let's delete this one. All right. So perhaps it looks something like this, which could very easily be the case, because this I was trying to conform the trend line more to some symmetrical type of move, but realistically, I mean, we could be forming a very very slow to consolidate you know range here. A very very wide triangle. So what that means is I think the support below yesterday or Friday's lows in the dollar index are going to be pretty important. So that comes in at 96.75. Okay. So support 96.75. Now let's go out to a 4 hour. Okay. Um, take that resistance through here. Okay. We got a spike high there. That all comes in at 97.50. We're at 97.20 right now. That spike low comes in at 97.42. So rallies up to 97.50 are going to be um, big resistance levels. I think that's going to be a probably pretty key resistance level for the dollar index on any rally back. Also keep in mind that you take this downtrend line here through here. By the time we actually get up there, which may not even be today, I mean, this is a 4 hour chart, so we can end up grinding over there for the next 24 hours. 97.50 is going to be a tough nut to crack, at least for today. Okay. Um, we are in a range environment. And oh yeah, I forgot. I am going to go live today on the FX Street webinar in about 2 hours from right now. I have to retweet out that link. Um, I don't know how much more exciting analysis we're going to get than this, but Dale will be asking me a lot of stuff about like future outlook, I think, though. Okay, let's go take a look at the Mexican peso. Now the peso, we can't write off the peso yet. Anytime this wants to pop up, you guys know that the peso is really, really close, and it still is very much within striking distance of its new trend highs. All right, so what looked like a double top here never fulfilled to the downside, which risks actually a squeeze now, because if you think about it, let's get rid of this line, not that one. There we go, that one. Okay, if you think about it from here, okay, you had this double top. That was a neckline. Some people try to get short. See that big red bar? People try to get short. Couldn't break down, and now we're wedging higher. And the problem is if you break higher, it's going to squeeze all the people that were trying to short the peso. So that's that's something that is pretty important, because that the peso starts squeezing here, it could get pretty it could turn into a pretty strong squeeze just from all the traders shorting it and not getting anything through there. And if we break into those highs, then we're going to test trend highs. Now if we hit trend highs, that's multi-year highs. Okay, so anyway, keep an eye on the peso. I think this support here, 1528, and then resistance at 1550. Because if we break through 1528, for those of you guys that trade the peso, which isn't a lot of people, but let's see here. Oops. 1528, and then big resistance is at 1550. Okay. We are in a range environment, but man, we're getting close to breaking out to the upside. And we should watch crude too. Oh, speaking of which, let's stop there for a second, because one of the things that Paul was talking, and I didn't want to interrupt him in his thought process at the time, but I was sitting here looking at crude oil. I'm like, man, this crude looks like it's going to pop. I mean, it's going to move, and it's going to move quickly. And the consolidation is pretty tight. Check this out. I guess the reason why I say that is because something like that. I don't know. I guess the reason why I'm watching this so closely is because, hey, how about if we break out? It's going to affect the Canadian, the peso, the Norwegian krona. Matter of fact, let's go look at the Norwegian krona really quick. Okay. This is still really, check this out. So the Norwegian krona, and let's get rid of this really fast. Let's get rid of that. No, I wanted to keep that. Damn it. Okay, remove that. Okay, so what we've got here is we have this broken trend line, right? We broke down, came back and rejected it. That was key. But we still haven't broken through support. And if crude breaks lower, then we're just going to bounce here in the US dollar Norwegian krona again, right? So, 795 is still resistance. 771. Oh, 770. 771, but 771 support. $771 is support, and resistance is 795, right? We're in a range, and let's go take a look at the Swedish krona. Um, Swedish krona still won't break down. Get rid of that. It's still holding up. And if you look at this thing, it's just wound up really tight. 859.50. Support 8.5950, and that's an asterisk because that's important support right through here. Resistance comes in at 8.72. We're in a range, but man, we're getting close to breaking out. Now, I'm assuming the breakout's not going to happen today. It's probably going to happen, it's probably going to happen um, on Wednesday, but you never know. You never know. The dollar could be setting up for a move today. All right, now I'm going to take some of your questions. It has been, let's see here, like I said, very quiet.